look how far we've come, all the things we've done, did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view, but there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And we are back.
We are back, bumble bitches. I don't know. I do this every time. I never have my microphone ready.
I was like, you ready? And you're like, nope. And you did your thing. You're like, okay, I'm ready. And then you weren't ready.
I was not.
She wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. So this has to charge.
That's okay.
All right,
we
delightful.
can BS for a minute. Today is October 7th. We are almost done with the year. We're going to be doing some bonus content for you guys. This will drop in December. So by the time this is dropped, you guys will have gotten some bonus content. For those of you who are watching currently live on Patreon, we have some ghost stories we're going to read. And
right now?
No, not today.
Oh, okay.
But well, you said you wanted to get your Halloween costume, so we're going to be doing some fun content as well as our normal content. I also would like to do our year-end video as a reaction video to our first content.
Okay.
So either like the first or second video we ever recorded for YouTube, like we'll go back and watch the very first video and react to it. Maybe we'll get different perspectives now that we've grown and evolved and healed.
Yeah, let's see. We'll see.
So
I'm not thrilled about that.
Harley said, nice shirt. Thank you. I like my shirt.
Very nice shirt.
Why aren't you thrilled about it? Why do you have such an aversion to watching our content?
I don't, it's me. I have an aversion to me because I feel like I've aged centuries.
So?
Like
You've
spiritually,
grown.
mentally, all of those kinds of things. And I am not prepared to see myself in that way.
Why? All of that is who you had to be where you are now.
I know. Why are you asking me these questions right now?
Because I want to know why you have such an aversion. Like, I know looking back, like when we watch that older content, I know I'm going to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I'm going to be in a much better physical form. Didn't have any injuries yet. Like,
yeah. I was still very broken.
There's going to be a whole lot of things that I'm not going to like about myself when I watch that content, but I love who I am now and who I'm becoming. And that's just part of the evolution.
Yeah.
So looking back on that, maybe I'll see something and be like, hey, I still do that and I don't like it. It's all perspective. Bethany said, y'all are wildly different people than you were back then. I agree. Every time somebody joins the Discord and goes back and watches early content, they're like, holy shit, are these the same people? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Always honor the old version of yourself. She was strong enough to save her life. There you go.
That's a very good point. Thank you.
Did your tablet kick on?
We're getting there.
We're getting there. All right.
I'm so hungry. I made some energy shots, not energy shots. I made immunity shots and then I made energizing shots yesterday from fruits and vegetables. And I just had my first shot of the immunity because the kids are sniffly and nasally and all of those kinds of things. And I'm not trying to get sick. And it felt so revitalizing to my body to have the juice.
Yeah.
I watched yesterday. I left an hour and a half early to get lunch and relax in my car before picking up the kids. That's my quiet time before delving into chaos in the evening. And I listened for 45 minutes to a woman doing a 7-day celery juice, just doing it. She every day drank a half a liter of celery juice in the morning on an empty stomach.
So it had flavored water? Because celery is just a water
Pretty
plant.
much. She juiced it and then she would drink it. And over the 7 days, she noticed a lot of very good benefits for her body. She felt more energized. Her skin looked fantastic.
7-day fast is a long time.
Yeah, she didn't fast. She still ate.
Oh.
She just drank celery juice every single morning for 7 days, but it was a half a liter.
It's a lot. So she got full on water.
Yeah. She said that it would help manage her appetite throughout the day because she got so many nutrients from it. She also
that's not true. Celery doesn't have a lot of nutritional value. It's like lettuce.
Well, there are things in it that help with appetite.
So she put stuff in it. It wasn't just celery.
No, it was just celery.
Then there's no nutrients.
See, this
in
is
it.
why I write things down. But I do remember this. She talked about how celery has something within the stomach. Like once you fill it up to capacity, it starts to coat the inside of the stomach. So she said that either raises or lowers the acidity in the stomach, which is a good thing.
So does fasting.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I'm not strong enough to fast.
Sure you are.
I'm willing to acknowledge that about myself.
You just like food.
I love food.
So do I. But fasting, it sucks, but it's not the most difficult thing in the world.
No, it's not.
I got to be honest.
But I don't have to.
The hardest part of me fasting when I fast every week is
when I eat.
Is because of you and the kids. I'm good until you guys order like chicken nuggets or something and I can smell it and I'm like, fuck, I'm hungry. But if it wasn't for that, I could go 3 or 4 days without eating. I get to a point like after that first 24 to 48 hours, it's not hard anymore. Like this is just a thing. We're going to fill up with water and go about our life. But as soon as I smell pizza or whatever it is that you guys are ordering, I'm like, you guys fucking suck, man.
I've asked you, would you rather that we like eat outside?
That's funny. While we're waiting on that, I want to talk about the land thing a little bit. So for those of you who don't know, we just got back from Utah. Again, today's October 7th. And coming back from Utah, we had a whole lot of time out there with her broken foot where we drove a lot. And there's a lot of land in Utah that's not super expensive. There's a lot of land in Arizona that's not super expensive. And we started looking at land in the desert because we wanted to buy as much acreage as possible for whatever we could afford. And knowing that for what we can afford in Florida versus what we can afford in Utah is the difference between 50 and 60, 70 acres sometimes. I found land
and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. Well, for what I found a plot of land in Utah for under $60,000. That was 40 acres that already had cable and power ran to it.
Love that.
I can't find 20 acres in Florida for 60 grand.
No.
So there's a whole lot of like where we're looking to buy so that we can get our land figured out. And I don't know if I want to try to do the desert life. You know, digging a well out there might not be possible. You may have to have the big water reserves and having water shipped in. Like it just might not be worth it for us to do that. But I did start looking at other places like Alabama because that was not on my list, and started looking for other places. And I have put together a plan. And what we were originally looking for was 50 acres or more. I have put together a plan that is going to be 20 acres or more. And I'm almost positive that by the end of 2026, we will physically own a plot of land.
Hell yeah.
There won't be nothing on it, but we will physically own the land. So that
cough. You will physically own a plot of land.
Right. So that by 2030, which was our goal of having land and doing the things that we're trying to do, I think that we'll actually be able to have what we want.
We can do it over time.
And we can do everything over time, a little bit at a time. Buy the land first, wait until we recoup some money, clear the land, wait till we recoup some money, barn dough, wait till we recoup some money. And then if we are going to actually plot it out for other people or whatever we're going to do in that aspect, the goal is to actually have a commune and have other people living on the property all year round so that we can stay here and go when we want to until we're ready to really be there full time. And a lot of that's going to come down to internet because of what we do for a living. So
all of that satisfies my instant gratification.
Yeah.
Because I would rather do it distanced out like that, recoup, spend a little bit, recoup, spend a little bit, versus saving, and then spending it all at once. In 4 or 5 years, oh my God, are you kidding me? You're telling me in a year we could have a plot of land? Word. And then in another year we can have electricity ran to it. Yeah, that does it for my brain.
Yeah. I think that the hardest part is securing the land that we want and finding land that's not landlocked, that has a proper easement or is right on the road. There's a lot that goes into looking for land. I've learned a lot about all of that. If we go to, I've said a lot. If we go to Arizona, Utah, Western Colorado, Wyoming, I looked at Wyoming, we can find big plots of land. I'm talking 60 acres or more for under $100,000.
Wow.
The problem is it's not the ideal land. Some of those plots are 3 hours away from civilization. That's super cool, but without internet, if somebody needs a hospital, a 3-hour drive could be the difference between life and death. Like there's a whole lot that is a concern for me in that aspect. The other aspect of all of this for me is I originally wanted to buy the land and start building it out so that people could come and be there. And I don't think I want to build it for that. I think I want to buy the land for us, build our barn dough, and then offer people to be able to build on our land and let them float the bill for what they want, and then just split the property taxes.
Okay.
Because if we own the land outright and property taxes is only $1,500 a year and somebody comes and builds a tiny home and lives on the property year round, for the cost of property taxes in their tiny home, they could be living on our property for an initial investment of 50 grand or less, depending on what they build for their tiny home. And then a yearly, insurance and taxes, land taxes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whole lot of that. Whole lot to figure out and all of that shit. But I am trying to get that situated and I'm trying to stay obsessed with it long enough that I can have the down payment. I want to make sure that I've got 50 or 60 grand in cash put away so that we can just buy the land. And then once we own the land and have power ran to the land, we could put an RV space on it so we could drive the camper out there, meet people out to clear it. And then once that's done, we can actually have a barn door built. We'll have to finance the barn door. I can't, I'm not going to save 250,000 or more on it,
No.
But anyways.
All right. I have an email.
Okay.
So this says, what point do I put my son first? I didn't think I would need to email in for help. I figured implementing what I'm learning in the women's group, reading the recommended books, and watching the podcast would help, which they definitely have in my marriage. However, my question comes from a co-parenting relationship I've had with my oldest son's dad. For a brief history, my son's father and I dated back in 2015 to about 2016. He met me when I was fresh out of high school, just about to start college. I'm sorry. I'm really hung up on that first paragraph. I take my women's groups very seriously. I put a lot into them. And the way that first paragraph was worded, even though it was worded in a way like, yes, it helped, I feel like it was undermined a little bit.
Why do you feel it was undermined?
However, my question comes from co-parenting relationship I have with my oldest son's dad. That's not an off-limits conversation in the women's group. So I don't understand. If you need the male's perspective, that's a different conversation.
Right, that's what I was going to go to. Maybe they wanted my input on it as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a co-parenting thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't take it personal. I know that's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't take it personal. I know how much work you put into those groups.
For a brief history, my son's father and I dated back in 2015 to about 2016. He met me when I was fresh out of high school, just about to start college. I fell hard and fast for that man. He was 22, I was 18. I couldn't believe that an older guy was interested in me. We had a great summer, and a few weeks before I was supposed to leave to go to Chicago State on a scholarship to start my studies and become a teacher, he begged me not to leave. That he felt like the distance would destroy us.
It's factual for a lot of people.
That is factual. That's also a really big conversation. At 18 years old, you're young. He's young, 22 years old. How sure are you going to be that this is going to be the relationship you have for the rest of your life? You're throwing away your scholarship. You're throwing away, what did you say? Was it med school?
To become a teacher.
To become a teacher. To get your teaching degree. That's giving up a future. I mean, there are other avenues to do that. I don't know if you can do online courses for becoming a teacher. But you would have to pay for that out of pocket. Your scholarship would not. I don't know if that's a transferable thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm saying this more for the people who may be in this current situation versus trying to correct her already made decisions, because that can't be done. Do you have anything on that?
No. Well, yeah, I guess I kind of do, but I'm not going to drag it out. This is one of those things where the compatibility matters, and having conversations about what your future looks like matters. And if she knew she was going to be going to school when she met this guy, and it was going to be going to school outside of the United States or outside of her state, that's a conversation that should have been had in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Not last minute, right? Because where's the compatibility in that? How did you not have that conversation about your future and all that time? But again, it was only a year. And she was hung up on the fact that she was dating an older guy. From 18 to 22, that 4 years isn't that big of a difference, especially in maturity levels. You were dating an 18-year-old and a 22-year-old body.
Yeah. All right, continuing.
Yep.
I got a job and enrolled at a local community college to start my degree. Things were going well until the night he was supposed to meet my dad. He should have met him before we started dating, but didn't.
I agree.
This never sat well with my dad. He arrived late to the dinner, all because I was running late on the bus from a therapy appointment.
Well, hold on. I only agree with that because of her age.
Okay.
I'm assuming at 18 years old, she's still living there.
I mean, that would be, I think, a fair assessment.
Right? So meeting the parents and doing that as a dating thing it's not that big of a deal, but like it's the right thing to do, right? Like as they get older, her dad's not going to meet every single man she's interested in.
Right.
But when you're living under somebody else's roof and like you're a child still in their eyes, there is a level of expectation that needs to be had, right?
Like, who are you bringing into the home?
Right. Right. What are you doing still? Like, as far as I'm concerned, if you're living in my house, even if you're an adult, you're still a child.
Yeah.
You could be 30 years old and you're a fucking child if your parents are taking care of you. So like you've shown at that age that you're not capable of being an adult yet. So while you're still relying on the graciousness of your parents, there is a level of, I have to look out for you because you're not capable of doing it on your own from a parent standpoint.
I agree with that.
That's not an entitlement thing.
No.
It's just a mutual respect that should be had.
I agree.
Okay.
My dad was upset that not only we were both late, but he didn't offer to pick me up and bring me home for the dinner. What's your feelings about that? Dad's upset that the boyfriend didn't offer to pick her up and bring her over for the dinner. Bring me home for the dinner. So I'm assuming that she lives at home, but he didn't offer to pick her up from the bus, I suppose, and then drive to the house together since he's coming over.
I have a whole bunch of problems with that.
Okay.
So there's a contradiction in this, first of all, because the dad already doesn't like the guy because he didn't meet him first, whatever.
Right. So there's already a negativity bias.
Right. If we're together and you are flying in or being bussed in or whatever, I'm there. Period. Like there's a gentleman thing that needs to be fulfilled on my end of things to make sure that you're safe. I gotta be honest, depending on how far it is, I would be meeting you. Right? Like money's tight. If you were flying in, I would probably jump on Spirit Airlines, $70 and fly to wherever you're going or coming in from so that we could fly together. The reality is most people aren't going to do that or even be able to afford it at that age. So driving to pick you up from a bus station would be more than feasible. Driving to wherever you're at is more than feasible. It depends on the state. Like driving out of the state of Florida is 2 tanks of gas.
It is.
From where we're at.
Yeah.
It's a tank and a half, realistically.
Depending on which car.
Right. Depending on the vehicle that we're driving. I would drive to Georgia to pick you up from school from where we're at. It would take me it would be a full day for me. It would be a half a day for you. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Drive to Tennessee and pick you up. Like that's just more time that we get to spend together and you're safe. You're not being on a bus. That's a whole ass thing.
Yeah.
That's the gentleman, the protector in me though. Not everybody has that. So I would have a problem with that. If that was our daughter and they were like, I'm taking the bus, I'd be like, the fuck you are.
Right. Where's your boyfriend?
Right. If he's not going to step in and be the man that you need, dad's going to come and do the thing.
Yep.
So
continuing. As our relationship progressed, my dad wanted me to stop seeing him. He said there is something about him he does not like. Instead of listening, I packed my bags and left. I moved in with him, and this is when my life spiraled. He got verbally abusive, physically, mentally, and financially.
Okay, so this is life experience.
Yeah.
And this
saw the red signs.
Yeah, this is normal child rebellion. You don't like him. I'm going to go do what I want to do. Fuck you, I'm an adult.
Now.
Right. Yeah. The reality is your dad saw all the ways that this man is not a good man, and you were too immature in the moment to see it for what it was. You thought your dad was being controlling.
Thought you knew better.
Right.
You don't know him the way that I know him.
Right.
Yeah. Abusive people bank on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that you are going to be headstrong in your thoughts and opinions and maybe want to rebel, teach somebody a lesson, or are influential enough to swoop in on.
Yeah.
And it could start with you guys sitting, driving somewhere, and you get into an argument with your dad on the phone. And he was like, oh, there's my end.
Yep.
Continuing. I was to keep his apartment clean and have lunch ready when we came home from work on his lunch break. If I didn't, there were many consequences. I was afraid, alone, and thought I was in love. Moving into March of 2016, we were going to Temecula for his sister's wedding. Where's Temecula? That feels like Arizona.
Yeah, I think it is. Wherever it is, we've driven by that sign.
Yeah, I feel like that's Arizona. Chat, let us know.
We've driven by that sign.
Yeah.
So wherever it is, we've been in that state.
A quick shout out for those of you listening back or watching on YouTube. We are currently live for our Patreon. And we have somebody on their first live ever after joining our Patreon, Viking30 Actual. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope that you enjoy the content, enjoy being in the live. Okay, so they're on the way to Temecula. I felt
It's in California.
What?
Yep. We've been there though. We've driven by that sign.
Really?
Maybe when we were going out to Death Valley, Badwater Basin.
Oh, maybe that makes sense.
Or maybe I'm wrong and it was a dream. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't. Is this a mandala?
Could be.
This
I don't think that would work that way with, I don't know, maybe. Let's get back to the email.
Okay.
Definitely don't want to go down that rabbit hole right now.
I like talking with you.
I enjoy talking with you too. I
Yeah.
just don't want to go down the rabbit hole of mandala and simulation theory.
Okay, word. We can do that on an after dark.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt off for most of the trip, but chalked it up to the travel and weather as it was quite warm. Okay, so I want to pause there. You don't feel off because of the trip. Your nervous system's fucked.
Yeah.
So people, please, I am begging you, dig into the purpose of your nervous system, what it does, how it protects you, what it does when it's triggered, what it does when it thinks that there may be a danger, the way that you start to pick up on little tiny things that trigger you and now suddenly you're panicking because the world's ending. Heal your nervous systems. Let's heal our nervous systems. Continuing, then I realized when doing my makeup on the wedding day that I not once cracked into the feminine hygiene products I had packed with me. It could also be she's pregnant.
Read that again.
She said, then I realized when doing my makeup on the wedding day, I had not once cracked into the hygiene feminine products I had packed with me.
Okay. Well, we know she's pregnant
Yeah.
because that's the title of the email.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The sun.
Spoiler alert.
And I'm still shocked. I really just read that and internally went, oh, my goodness.
That's funny.
I panicked and I told him I think I'm pregnant. I would also be terrified being in that situation with somebody who is abusive, who has not only gotten to the point of okay with being verbally abusive, but physically abusive.
And she was going to marry him.
Right. No, this is the sister's wedding.
Oh,
Yeah. They're at a wedding.
gotcha.
So continuing, he said we will discuss it at home due to the fact that we were staying in an Airbnb with his family. We didn't want to raise alarm. You
That's a red flag.
Right, because we can have a quiet conversation in our bedroom
Right.
of this Airbnb.
But pregnancy raising alarm means I don't want a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Right? Because that would be a perfect time to announce that shit. You're around all of your family if you're excited and that's what you want.
I don't think that would be the move.
Fuck that, I would.
It's the sister's wedding day.
And I would tell them after the wedding. Because they're in an Airbnb. Like,
yes. So the first person I would talk to, so I agree with you. Like this would be the prime time. Like we just found out and there's that excitement. The first person I would talk to is the sister. Like, hey, I just found this out. I know this is your wedding. Like this is your wedding time. How would you feel if we announced this at some point during the weekend since all the family's here? And I would leave the ball in her court.
that's fair. You guys have more
Emotional attachment
to the
day.
wedding than we do, right? We got a lot of first timers in here, guys.
Oh, hello. Welcome. You get to keep your passports. Don't worry.
That's funny.
All right, continuing. The next day after the wedding, I was getting out of the shower and heard his phone going off. Prior to us leaving, his boss let us both know that he may need to call about the setup he runs for the community event and that if we hear him calling to please answer. All right, word. So that is express approval beforehand to pick up the phone and look at who's calling. If you miss this phone call, it's going to be a big issue. Well, that's what I'm taking away from this. Now, that's just an implied thing. Was that said to him or was that said to both of you? Were you included in on that conversation? He was like, babe, be my second hands. I'm taking a shit. I'm in the shower. My boss calls me. I need you to answer the phone. Be like, hey, give him 5 seconds. He'll be out here. And then put the phone back down. Don't hang up on him. But just let him know it'll be a minute. If you're not a part of that conversation, you just overheard that. And now you're taking it upon you to be the savior in the moment, right? You're not going to miss the phone call, whatever the case may be, and then pick up and look at his phone. That could be I don't look at your phone when it's ringing.
Yeah, if your phone was ringing, I would check to see who's calling if you're not next to it. Yeah, because I could be like, hey, your sister's calling. Do you want me to answer the phone? This is the difference in generations, though. I remember when caller ID rolled out.
Yeah.
So like before, you'd always have somebody else answer your phone. Mm-hmm. If it's so-and-so, I'm not here.
Oh, yeah.
Now we got caller ID. Just be like, bloop, ignore, right?
Right.
That wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the shower or I'm doing anything, if my phone rings and I'm not next to it, you can absolutely pick my phone up and be like, so-and-so's calling. Because then I can be like, answer the phone so I don't have to call them back. Or send it a voicemail. That's very different than reading through text messages.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I always go, babe, your phone's ringing. And then you tell me, bring it to me, pick it up, whatever the case may be. I view phones the same way you view women's purses.
Yeah, I agree with that too, but not from the caller ID aspect.
Yeah.
Yep. I view caller ID as public information.
I agree with that.
I don't have to unlock your phone to see that your phone is ringing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't view it as Snoopy.
Yeah.
I don't view it as like you're crossing a boundary. I don't know. I don't care about who's calling you. I know you'll tell me about it afterwards. I know you're putting the shit on speakerphone.
Absolutely. I don't like my phone ringing. So that's the thing. If somebody calls me, it's normally important, or it's a fucking bullshit like your car's extended warranty bullshit, you know?
All right. I heard his boss's text chime going off and ran to the phone to grab it. And what I saw was his boss's name in all caps, not how it usually looked. And then there was a video attached to the text message.
Ooh, it was a dirty video.
Oh, man. Y'all think you're slick. And I'm not just saying this to men because this is a man doing it. Women do this shit too. I've seen Domino sending dick pics. Don't play games. As soon as I opened it, I saw female body parts that were not mine staring back at me. I was furious. I only scrolled through for a little bit, but my fears were confirmed. I was being cheated on. That's a gut-wrenching moment.
Yeah.
That's always, even when you suspect it, you have that inkling, you have that feeling of something going on. Having the reality of it's shattering. And for me, it's less about how could you do this? And it's more about how did we get to this point?
Right.
There was a point where I know for a fact we only had eyes for one another. And like you only wanted to spend time with me. So that I think that hard realization, because I've been cheated on. And
Not by me.
No, not by my husband. Not by my husband. This is past relationships. And I have emotionally cheated on people in the past. So I know the damage I have caused, and I know what it's like to receive that damage. And it sucks. Continuing, I confronted him about it, and he admitted that he never stopped talking to his ex, even while we were talking. When we drove home, I told him I wanted to test immediately. As soon as we got home, I took 3 tests. 2 were negatives, 1 was positive. Due to the contradictory test results, I went to the ER because I also wanted an STD test done. That's smart.
It is.
That's very smart. Results were positive for pregnancy, negative for everything else. When I told him the results, no, he didn't go with me. A friend did. He stormed off. I didn't see him for 3 days straight. No calls, no texts, nothing.
It's because this isn't what he wanted.
Right. I mean, he never wanted this. He never stopped talking to the ex.
Right.
A few of his friends and myself all confronted him at his mom's to express to him that it was wrong to leave me alone and scared that while I'm expecting his child. He then hit me with, well, we don't even know if it's mine. In that moment, I lost all respect for him. I already knew he was cheating. How dare he accuse me of cheating?
That's why he accused you of cheating.
Right.
So this is also a me thing. Even with our relationship and knowing that you're on birth control and like pregnancy is not going to be a thing for us. If you got pregnant, I would want a DNA test.
Yeah.
I don't want any questions, right? Like I lived through that with my biological daughter. Like there's a very real possibility that she's not mine. And I never did that.
And now you'll never know.
And now I'll never know. Doesn't change the fact that she's my kid. And even if I did know, she's still my kid. You know, I had a huge hand in raising her, but
the question is what bothers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with the way things are now and with the infidelity rates and the way that people are with other people, like I would rather not have any kind of questions. Like I'd rather just know you'll never have to worry about that. Women.
Oh, me? Yeah, no, I'm the mom, of course.
Right. Well, you know, there's a whole changed at birth thing. That was a thing for a while, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I was terrified of that.
Right. But
the children never left my room.
The amount of people who are like, my son is 25 and I found out today that he's not my son and I've raised him his entire life. Like I just don't want to ever experience that.
Yeah. I there's one specific video I think of every time I hear that situation. There was this guy, oh my God, he was maybe 60s, 70s. You could tell he's had a hard life. And one of his sons or nephews needed a organ transplant. So everybody in the family got tested to see if they were a genetic match.
It was one of his sons, you said.
One of his sons, he found out both of his sons were not his.
Yep.
And his sons are in their 40s and 50s. Like,
there was this is from the chat. There was a statistic on men raising kids that aren't theirs. And that thing was devastating to hear. It's actually 1 in 3. 1 in 3 men are raising a child that's not there, for men who have done a DNA test. 1 in 3. So if everyone did a DNA test, I wonder how that number would change, because it could become 1 in 8.
yeah,
That's still a lot.
it is. I wouldn't be bothered by a DNA test.
No?
That's one of those things that doesn't hurt me to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that this isn't coming from a lack of trust in me. And if it is, if there is a malintent behind it, and that's a hidden factor, and it's being masked with, this is a trauma for me, and I whatever, logic, statistics, whatever the case may be, I don't have to live with that. You do.
Right. Right.
So you get the results. I'm proven right. I'm using finger quotations. I'm proven right. Even if I never know, you now have to live with the fact that you question me as your wife that way. Like, whatever the case may be, with that negative tint behind it. So I know a lot of women would be like, oh, well, he doesn't trust me. The foundation of the relationship, all of the reasons to not do it. And even if that's the case, it doesn't hurt you to do it.
Right.
It's not your character. I mean, it is your character in question when those things are being said, but you know the truth. I'm only going to be offended when I know I did that shit.
Yeah.
Because like we said earlier, it was either this episode or while on TikTok, nobody likes to be told that, hey, you did this thing and it was hurtful or it was damaging.
Right. You know how many TikToks show up on my feed now of women and men at like carnivals and shit, where a guy's like, how long you guys been married? And they're like, oh, 8 years. And they're like, oh, you've been together 8 years? Yeah. Oh, what do you do? I'm in the military, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, you want to check your person to see if they're on dating apps?
I've seen those too.
Every day. I get probably 10 or 15 every time I scroll. I'm good. Like I need to know for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of financial risk when it comes to having kids.
Yes. You're locked in on that.
Yeah.
All right, continuing.
Yes.
We ended up losing our apartment and having to move in with his mom. However, before my foot even crossed the threshold of her house, he told me we were no longer in a relationship.
Then why'd you move in there? Why didn't you go home to your parents?
Right. And unless they're awful parents and they're like, you're not welcome back here because you made a decision we wouldn't make. In my mind, it would be the shame and guilt and having to go home and be lectured on the fact that, like, did you learn a lesson from this? Because obviously you learned a lesson from this, but there's going to be a lot of eating crow that's going to happen if one goes back home after this situation.
Yeah, but having to eat shit verbally for a little bit, who gives a fuck? You're safe.
Yeah.
Your kid is going to be safe.
Eat that shit like pancakes.
It's just words.
Yeah.
Right? You know you learned a lesson. And you can even tell your parents, like, look, I get it. You were right. I was wrong. And I'm not saying that to pacify you.
I fucked up.
I fucked up. I don't need you to rub it in my face. I'm living it.
Continuing, he would be there for his baby and that was it. I asked why I was moving into his mom's then, and he said, where will you go if it weren't for my mom's kindness? He was right. After all, my parents were still mad at me for leaving and they didn't know I was pregnant.
Your parents would have gotten over it.
I think they would have gotten over it, right?
That's absolutely manipulation on his part and you fell for it. There's a part, there's definitely a point of no return when it comes to like, you keep
Parenting.
fucking up and I'm not going to continue doing this for you. You're an adult now. But she had just turned 18.
Abusive relationship.
Right.
Pregnant.
This is life experience. This is your learning to crawl right now as an adult. I'm going to be there to pick you up. Come on home.
Right.
You were definitely going to have to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that you understand what happened. It doesn't mean that I'm going to constantly throw it in your face and be a fuckface about it. But we are having a conversation after you're settled about what happened.
Yeah, we're not doing this a second time.
Right.
I have this conversation with the kids right now at 6 and 7 years old. I'm mad at you. That does not negate that I love you.
Right.
And this started with them asking, well, I started telling them, I'm mad at you right now. I want you to know I still love you. And this is especially like if you're sent to your bedroom and you're going to be in there for the next 15 minutes because you're not listening or you're having a tantrum, whatever the case may be. I'm sending you to your bedroom with, and I love you at the end of this.
Right.
And then they started asking me when I would get like, they're really pushing. It's escalated now that they've gotten older because they're finding new ways to push my buttons and be gremlins. Anger is not the thing. I get frustrated now. I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting irritated. I start sighing a lot. There's a lot of expression of like me trying to get the steam out of me so I don't blow up. And they pick up on that body language and they know, Mommy, I know I'm irritating you right now. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. Do you still love me? Of course I still love you. And we can sit here and cuddle for a second and regulate our heartbeats until they sink and whatever the case may be. But just because I'm feeling the way I'm feeling right now doesn't mean I don't love you.
Right. Kids are better at reading body language than most adults are because that's how they learn to communicate.
That's the first way they learn to communicate because they don't know speech. And I think it's really important for a lot of kids to remember that. Unless you have really shitty, like alt-right or hardcore left, like super religious, not my child, you are banished from this household, blocked on everything, never going to hear from you again, abusive parents, you need to remember that they love you. There is very, very little that the children can do in their lives that will make me not want to help them.
Yeah.
And help will not always be financial help for those of you who may be listening out there. That's the one thing you want from your parents. You're not entitled to that from them.
Gracie Ellis said that she found out 3 days after she got back from Costa Rica that her dad wasn't her dad.
Oh my God. He was right. Parents didn't know she was pregnant. I stayed for a couple of months with them until it all came to a head. Okay, so I want to pause here. Ladies, your pregnancy is very, very important. Just because the baby is not physically present doesn't mean that baby is not picking up on what's going on outside of your body. Your emotions are influencing this baby's development, your hormones, your cortisol levels, your panic attacks, the verbal abuse you're receiving. If you have not read It Didn't Start With You by Mark Walhoff, I think. It Didn't Start With You is definitely the title of the book. And it's written by a guy named Mark W. Definitely read that book. It put a lot into perspective for me into regards to why my son and my daughter are the way that they are, why their development has been different due to the way that my pregnancies were different, the way that my body was during those pregnancies, my mental state during those pregnancies. Your nervous system, it develops in the womb, and your nervous system is primed in the womb to get out into this world and be prepared for whatever it needs to be prepared for. So if you're constantly in fight or flight, this baby is going into the universe with, all right, mom's fucking terrified for her life. I need to come out here terrified for my life. I got to fight right away.
It's called epigenetics.
Yeah. It's a lot. So please keep all of that in mind when putting yourself into situations or accepting energy from people in forms of communication or silent treatments, physical behaviors, all of those kinds of things. During my time there, his mom made me keep a log of foods I was eating, and we would talk about my food choices. It got so bad I started to hide food in the room I was in so I didn't have to write it down. He would sneak in the room at night and sleep with me when I refused, he would threaten to have his mom throw me out. This is all sorts of fucked up.
Sleeping, do you mean like
in the bed
sleeping
together?
with or fucking?
Yeah.
Because that's rape as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. That is rape and coercion. The mom keeping track of your food intake, I understand that to a degree. I kept a food log during my pregnancies. I did not eat healthily during my pregnancies. I got to over 300 pounds. Keeping a track now with me in my mindset and who I am as a person, I mean, I'm tracking what I eat every day now. And I am making switches and alternatives and all these kinds of things. When you are pregnant, what you put into your body is very, very important. And if you're hiding like ho-hos and zebra cakes and Doritos, and those are the things that you are wanting to eat in secret, but she's wanting you to eat more healthy items like protein and low carbs or whatever your OBGYN gynecologist is saying you may need for your pregnancy, I don't think that's inappropriate.
I think her mom trying to log it isn't his mom trying to log that is inappropriate.
It's controlling.
Absolutely.
I think the intentions behind it, if what I just described is accurate and she's wants her to be healthy and wants the baby to be healthy, I think there are good intentions behind that. Yeah, the way she's going about it is inappropriate.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. The night prior to me leaving, he had asked me to sleep with him and I told him no. It took my now husband, who was a friend at the time, we went to high school together and kept in contact as friends, to wake me up and realize I was being abused, and to be a good mom to my son, I needed to leave. I love that. Hope this is a good guy. I mean, it sounds like he had a good direction of north. This is why it's important to not isolate yourself in life. We cannot live this life by ourselves in our own reality. We can get ourselves into some really fucked up situations and justify it.
Yeah, it's true.
We need outside perspective. Of course, we need to be able to filter and decipher and have discernment for the best for us and the people around us saying that they want the best for us. We also have to read their actions and intentions, all those kinds of things. Community support is really important. Are you in pain?
I am in pain.
Are you ready to wrap this up?
No, we can finish. I'm just shifting a lot. I have a lot that I want to say about this whole situation with her requiring somebody else to point out the bullshit that's going on in her life. This is failed parenting.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a young woman who was just along for the ride, that never had to make enough of her own decisions, that buried herself into a really deep fucking hole and didn't know how to deal with it. And that comes down from the inability to communicate to the parents. Maybe the parents weren't there enough. Like I have a lot of like scenarios in my head of why this is a thing, but I keep coming back to, you obviously don't love yourself enough that you tolerated this behavior from somebody.
Yeah.
And every time I make statements like that, people come out of the woodworks and say, oh, you have no idea. Women have to leave 7 times. It's a threat. People kill them. Ugh, all of that shit. The reality is if you loved yourself enough that when the abuse started and you left and didn't tolerate it, it would never get that far.
Right.
This is a sequence of choices, a series of events that happen that you allow that get you to that point. Somebody needs to be like, hey, it's time to put that shovel back in the shed. You need to stop digging that hole.
Yeah.
But that comes down to not having the proper people around you to help raise you into being an adult. And sometimes that adulthood raising happens.
Right.
I still at 45 years old have people that will bring something to me that I don't know, that I will listen to, and I'll evolve because of it. But that also comes down to being able to listen. She wasn't willing to listen to her dad. She thought that she knew better and she fucking did her own thing and she dug herself into a hole.
Right.
And this isn't blaming her for it. This is the reality of,
you made the choice to not listen.
right, the parents failed her in the teaching.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that the parents didn't do enough or they did too much? I don't know. But for them to not listen to the parents' guidance and what was going on, there was not a trust in the parents in that situation.
Right. Continuing.
Yes.
When I came back from school, I saw they had gone through all my things. Clothes, paperwork, everything. I was done. During this time, I had mended things with my parents and told them everything that had happened and what had just happened. They said they would have a friend come and get me and some of my stuff because they were on their way back from vacation and wouldn't be back until the following day. See, do not allow the fear or the guilt or the self-shaming stop you from reaching back out to your parents when you're in a situation like this.
For sure.
You could have avoided so much abuse. You could have maybe even avoided the pregnancy. I'm not saying you regret your child. I am saying that sometimes people regret their children. I am going to say that. Sometimes people do regret having children. Sometimes people regret being in situations where they're backed into a corner and now they're having a child with somebody that they hate.
Yeah.
They may not regret the child. They regret the parent, whatever the case may be.
I was going to go there.
Don't wall yourself off from resources and help because you don't think that they're going to show up. Allow them to make that known to you. Reach out, and then if they shut that down, you know you've exhausted that resource. That's no longer an option. Where else can we go?
Right.
When he and his mom returned, I told them I was leaving as the situation isn't safe for my son and I anymore. His mother got my face and said to me, you need to be prepared to sacrifice for that baby. I don't think you can do that. I wouldn't have told them. Real shit in this situation with the information that I have now, with the confidence that I have now and knowing that there are resources out there, I would set a day for that friend to come and pick me up. I would reach out to the non-emergency police line and arrange for an officer to show up, to be on the premises. That way I can move my shit out knowing that this man has physically abused me. And then just have all of them show up at once. And now I'm moving my shit out. There's not going to be any escalation. Telling them that I am going to do this and there's still 2 or 3 days until this friend show up. There's a whole lot that can happen in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Continuing.
Yes.
For the first 2 years, his dad never contacted me about our son until he saw I was in a relationship with my now husband. He then swooped in like he did the first time, but this time trying to play dad of the year. I kept my distance emotionally for myself, but yearned for my son to have his dad. That's how it should be. You're emotionally involved with another person now. That's how it should be. That's always how it should be. When you are with somebody else, we are not entertaining the other parental figure coming back in. This is purely for the benefit of the child, if there's benefit there being provided from the other parent.
Right.
My ex would be in and out pretty regularly, which made it hard for me and my husband to plan things for our future. We sat him down, finally informed him that my husband had an opportunity to go to an oil rig off the coast of Texas, and we were going. That started our court battle, trying to work out an agreement, and somehow he ended up with 50-50. We had to stay in the state, especially because I was still unmarried. I was informed marriage would change the case. However, my husband wanted to be making good money before we got married. I understand that combining incomes is a thing. I think that waiting for finances to get to a certain point to get married is bullshit.
I agree 100%.
Okay. Continuing, now to present day, we have done the 50-50 thing, and his dad has healed a lot from the past that we both went through. His dad recently met someone last year, and they got married after 4 months of dating. My husband and I speculated she was pregnant, but that was not the case. We assumed things were going well until my son started coming home and saying how he didn't like being over there anymore. Him and his dad didn't have guy time like they used to because his wife was always around or wouldn't let them just be father-son. My son would express that his dad's wife demanded to be called mom when she married his dad, and while he liked her, he didn't know if he wanted to call her mom.
Yeah, that's not a demand that you can make.
Yeah, that's a really big issue for me.
Yeah.
And it's not because another woman would be called mom. I'm fine with that. I know I gave birth to you. I'm the one the school calls when you're sick. I'm the one who's signing the hospital paperwork. Like, you're not encroaching on my motherly territory here. I'm also a firm believer that children need a village. So if there is something that another woman can provide for my child and they're in that spot in their life to do so, I love that. That's a beautiful thing. The problem for me is, like you said, you cannot demand that from a child.
Right.
Period. That is an abuse of power. That's an abuse of the dynamic. And that takes away the willpower of that child to make you feel important. What an ego. How selfish.
Right. Only thing I got on this situation is that I don't know how old the kid is in this situation, but the dad and no longer doing the dad kid time together because there's a new person in the picture is normal. Mm-hmm. And that's a very normal thing for kids not to want to be around there anymore because the relationship between the two of them has changed because there's a third person in there now. That happens. So if the kid's not being abused and there's just that time has shifted, that's not something to really be concerned about. Mm-hmm. The being forced to be called mom, and things of that nature is.
You also don't get that title just because you married a parent.
Right.
That is something that is earned over time and built in the relationship with the child. And once that child decides at any age, even as an adult, they don't want to call you mom or dad or whatever the case may be, that's not a personal attack against you. You're not their parent.
Right.
You are loved. You are valuable. You're called pops. Dad is for dad, and you're pops. And if a stepmother came into the picture, mom, mama, mommy, madre. There's many different names for motherly figures. We were co-parenting well with my son's dad until his wife joined the picture. Then it was always an argument on if we could have my son for a cousin's birthday party that landed on their week or a movie we wanted to take him to that came out of their week. Never was an issue before. My son's dad had already expressed to us he is on his income and didn't want our son to miss out on things, so he appreciated when we could offer to take him even when it wasn't our time and vice versa when he wanted family time with him. So I want to pause there. Unfortunately, you can't control that. If he's changed his mind, he's changed his mind. You are not owed that time during his week.
Right.
Even if it's something that the child's looking forward to. As the child grows and develops and then gains more understanding and they're asked, well, why wasn't I able to go to cousin Jeremy's 7th birthday party? Because you were at your dad's that week and he told me no. That's not throwing the dad under the bus. That is the truth of what happened.
Right.
And if that poorly reflects the father or it makes the child feel a certain way, that is what the father chose to do. And the child can process that however the child wants to process that. And in my co-parenting relationship, it's very much, hey, so you know, this Thursdays during your week, there's a birthday party I want to take the kids to. Is that something that we can make work? And if it's a no, it's not going to be end of the world. The children are not going to have their childhoods destroyed because they didn't make it to this one birthday party. Would it be fun for them? Yes. Would it be an experience? Yes. Are they going to remember that birthday party? If they don't go to a bunch of birthday parties, probably.
Right.
I can't tell you my 7th birthday party.
It's going to change when they become teenagers.
Right.
But when they become teenagers, they can also say where they want to be.
That's true.
So
that is true. And also, as parents, me and the children's father, we are very much, what do the children want to do? So it's less about how we feel about the situation, unless it's an unsafe situation, right? And it's more about if the children want to go to that thing, we'll make it work. His wife didn't seem to enjoy the peaceful dynamic we all shared, so it turned to chaos. Now, recently, him and his wife are separating due to her abusive tendencies. She would yell at my ex, call him names, and she would smack him, punch holes in the wall, all of this witnessed by my son. She has also got in my child's face and screamed at him for doing something. He has ADHD and can get a bit silly sometimes and won't quit even after being asked. This is something we have all been working on with him, and he has come far until she joined the fold.
So when all of this was going on, why didn't you go back to court?
Right.
You were knowingly putting your child in an unsafe situation.
You can call the cops on me. The children aren't going to go to that household.
Right.
If that's truly happening, call the cops, and then we can have a conversation with the police about why our son's not coming to your house.
Right. Right. And if the police force to go, then we'll go ahead and get a hold of our lawyer, and we will go back to court, and I will have full custody of the children because the children are not going to go stay in an abusive situation.
Yep.
Period.
So
why are you allowing your child to go into an abusive household? That's the question.
Yeah. The regression makes sense. She brought all of this chaos. Children, adults who have ADHD, any type of neurospiciness, we need routine. And this child's routine was massively disrupted, and there was no course correction. There was no integration. So I do believe that so it continues said it almost felt like a regression. I would believe that it was a regression.
Right.
After we found out what was happening, my husband and I were planning on talking to his dad privately about the behavior she was exhibiting. We didn't want our child to witness this any longer or possibly be harmed. However, he beat us to it. He came over and let us know they would be separating due to their therapist waking him up that the situation is too volatile for a child to be living in, and his wife agreed to get help. The couple's therapy cannot continue. He realized our son has witnessed so much in just a short year of their relationship that it is causing unnecessary trauma and stress. Well, that separation idea lasted a few days. She told my ex that she would go to intensive therapy and anger management to save their marriage, which leads me to the purpose of this email. His dad wants to know if we would ever feel comfortable with her being around our son after so much has happened. My husband said no, regardless of all the therapy she receives, that he does not want her around our son again. He believes she is only wanting to do this to save face. He doesn't believe she is truly wanting to change, especially because my ex has shared she has had similar issues in the past and has been hospitalized before.
I agree with him.
The dad?
Yeah, her husband. We'd be going back to court.
Yeah.
The moment that they were like, there's abuse happening, we're going to court.
Oh, yeah. This is not something that I would take lightly. I'm not even entertaining this conversation with you right now.
Right.
That would be my response to that. Would you ever be comfortable with her being in our child's lives? I'm not having this conversation with you right now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that have to happen for that to be a thing, and right now that ain't it.
Yeah. Continuing, I'm on the fence. I know how helpful therapy and working on yourself can be. I know it can be a great asset for her to get tools needed. However, part of me agrees with my husband. Why the change now and not when they started going to therapy as a couple? I could see it being to save the relationship. However, she has had these issues before and did not change. I do not want my son to end up hurt due to a situation she may put him in. I also don't want my son to grow up and think that this kind of relationship is normal, especially when my husband and I are working on ourselves and our marriage to not yell as much. I don't want to tell my ex who he can and can't be with, but at what point does my son's safety trump his relationship with his father? Thank you for possibly taking the time to read this, and you guys have helped me a lot in my own marriage and as a mother. I love hearing Peaches' perspective in the women's group and look forward to watching more and learning.
This is not a matter of you being involved in their relationship. This is a matter of you protecting your child.
Being a mother.
Right. And him being a father.
Right.
If he knows that this type of shit is happening, why would he want his son there? He acknowledged all the shit that the son witnessed.
He knows it's traumatizing him.
Right. So the conversation is, doesn't matter how I feel about her or how I feel about your relationship. The situation is the son is not safe there. And until we believe the son is safe there, he's not coming over there unsupervised.
Especially if I know that you're going to be with her.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to see the kid, you can take him and come dinner and spend time with him, but it needs to be in public locations where you guys are not alone. I don't want him alone with her. And if there's any type of conflict about this, we're going back to court.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking putting the kids in an abusive situation, period.
Yeah, not playing that game. At all.
And I understand it's difficult. We've been dealing with fucking court shit for over a year now. Like it's a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
And it's time consuming and it's costly, but it's worth it.
That's the end of the email.
We're an hour and 3 minutes in. That felt like so long.
It's because your back hurts.
Maybe.
We can cut this short today.
Yeah. We can do a quick email or a thank you.
That is not a quick email. Okay. I am not seeing any short emails. Not even a thank you. These are like 5 to 6 pages.
Jenny said there's nothing wrong with just one email. We can wrap up then.
Okie dokie.
Blame my back pain.
All right.
You have anything you want to add to that before we wrap up?
To the email?
Yeah.
Young people listening to this, right? Young women, 17, 18, 19 years old. You do not have it figured out yet. And at 18, 19 years old, I felt powerful as fuck. And I had a lot of ego about me. And the universe showed me, and I had to go through a lot of experiences to learn that I don't know shit. And now at 30 years old, I still don't know shit. I know that I'm capable of defending myself to a certain extent. I know that even with you, I know you, I like to think more than most people in your life know you. But even then, I don't know everything about you. You could do something tomorrow and be like, holy shit, I didn't think you were capable of that, or whatever the case may be. You need to listen to the people around you, especially people who have life experience. There were people in my family who were telling me things. I didn't like the way that we were saying it. I don't like you, so I'm not going to listen to what you're saying. And now, me being 30 years old, if 14-year-old me had just fucking listened,
Right.
maybe I wouldn't have been raped in that car in the back alley. Maybe I wouldn't have been in a super shitty first marriage.
Yeah, we have to learn our own lessons.
Yeah.
And I believe that. Like we can't learn from other people's mistakes. And Dunning-Kruger effect
Is a thing.
is a big thing in your teenage years. You're gonna always, every teenager is gonna go through it. And like your parents will tell you, when you're my age, you'll understand. And you will.
Yeah.
You will absolutely understand when you're your parents' age that they were just trying to look out for you. Granted, there are abusive people out there, but
Right. Who use that for manipulation.
right. But for the most part, you're going to grow up and be like, damn, they were right.
Yeah.
Every child does that when they become an adult. That's just the reality of it. We've lived through what you have to go through, but you do have to go through it.
It's life experience.
Just like your parents didn't learn from their parents. You have to make your own mistakes. You have to feel the emotions. You have to process the emotions. You have to go through those things to
You
learn
have
how to
find
navigate the world.
solutions. Yeah.
Right. But I don't care who you are. If you're going through hard times, you have to be able to lean on other people because we are a community-based species. That's the reality of it. We've lived, 300,000 years on the planet. In one form or another, we've always relied on our tribe to get us through things.
We don't thrive alone.
Right. So.
You can survive alone, but you will not thrive alone.
Right. Well, most people won't survive alone either.
That's very true.
So.
Hey guys, little quick interruption. If you're enjoying the content, please leave a like. And also don't forget to comment. We enjoy interacting with you guys and hearing your opinions, and it helps the algorithm.
It's also free to do, and if you really want to help make sure the show continues to do, hit the subscribe button and share the content across your social medias. It costs you nothing, and it greatly helps the show. I'm done.
Okie dokie, I'm also done. I'm ready to wrap up. I'm going to take Ivy out and then leave, go get lunch, decompress in my car.
With that being said, guys, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, bitches. What? I don't remember what I say.
Bye, guys. Peace. I don't know. End it however you want to end it.
I don't have a scripted thing after that.
No.
I just short circuited.
You gonna do it again?
No, that's fine.
Okay.